Hello friends, today we're going on another adventure on the Arizona Trail. As I mentioned in my volunteering on the AZ Trail video from a few weeks back, you can click in the upper right there if you haven't seen it yet. There was another volunteer opportunity up in the Mazzies at the end of October. I couldn't help myself. I had to head back up to some of my favorite mountains and participate in the awesome work that the Arizona Trail Association was conducting. This video is going to focus a bit more on what volunteering on the Arizona Trail looks like. If you're interested in volunteering, please visit aztrail.org/volunteer to get involved. There's also a link to that in the description of this video. Just like last time, the steep ascent up the Y-Bar Trail gave access to the Mazatzal Divide portion of the Arizona Trail. This rough and rocky climb certainly isn't for the faint of heart, but is one of the most accessible routes to access the deep backcountry of the Mazatzal Wilderness. I began my ascent around 1 in the afternoon, whereas most of the other volunteers began their hike around 8 a.m. I ran into 2 other volunteers who also started their hike later in the day, around the Y-Bar junction with the AZ Trail, and we hiked together the rest of the way to camp. We arrived in camp around 6 p.m., just before the last motes of light made their way over the mountains. I promptly set up camp close to our 2 horse companions, Sugar and Rooster, made dinner, and got rest for the coming workday. A typical day for a volunteer begins with breakfast and a morning meeting at 8 a.m. After this meeting, 2 teams set out to work. One team went north out of camp onto section 23B, and the other went south onto section 23A. The last work event, we focused on clearing Deadfall, and during this event, over 80 trees were cleared off of the trail in these areas. This go round, everyone was focusing on trail bed work and brushing. The tools used to accomplish these tasks are the McLeod tool, a pickmatic, and loppers. Working in teams, some people focus on the trail bed and others work on brushing. The trail bed workers utilize the pickmatic and McLeod tool. The McLeod is sort of like a rake with 4 large points on one side, with a flat hoe-like blade on the other side. It is used to clear rocks and debris off of the trail to create a smooth surface to walk on. The pickmatic is used to cut into the hillside to regrade the trailbed and help maintain the critical edge, or the edge that defines the trail from the downward slope of the hill it's on. The trail actually isn't kept perfectly level. It is actually sloped slightly downhill, allowing for proper drainage of water off of the trail. If the water was left to pool on a flat surface, it would actually create huge erosion problems and the trail wouldn't last in good condition for very long. The people who brush work in teams of 2. One person trims vegetation near the edges of the trail, keeping an eye out for growth that will impede the trail in the near future. This sort of strategy was referred to as our 5-year plan for the trail. After all of that brush is cleared, the other person does what is called swamping. Swamping is just a fancy word for bunching up some of the branches trimmed by the person with the loppers and throwing them off trail in such a fashion that it won't be unsightly for trail users. Being that we had over 17 volunteers at this event, we were able to get a ton accomplished. Close to 4 miles of trail was repaired during this work event alone. After seeing just how much work goes into maintaining this small stretch of trail in the backcountry, one can't help but think about what it takes to build and maintain all 800 miles of this awe-inspiring trail through all sorts of different conditions. It truly wouldn't be possible without a network of amazing volunteers that work with the Arizona Trail Association to accomplish such a massive goal. At this work event, there were 3 trail stewards. Trail stewards are people who adopt a piece of the trail and are put in charge of ensuring that stretch of trail is properly maintained. The stewards explained to me that part of their stewardship agreement is that they must visit their section at least twice a year to maintain it. In the case of the Mazzies, it would be nearly impossible for a single person to hike out with all of the necessary tools and spend the amount of man-hours needed to maintain this piece of trail sustainably. In cases like this, work events are organized a few times a year, and a crew of volunteers step up to help make this chunk of the Arizona Trail as good as it can be. In our work crew, there were several first-time volunteers, several seasoned volunteers, and even 2 horses that helped carry up needed supplies for the work event. Being that no motorized transport or assistance is allowed in the wilderness area, meaning not even mountain bikes can be used in this spot, pack animals are sometimes used to get needed tools and building materials into remote work sites. The 2 horses that accompanied us this time, Rooster and Sugar, were both very friendly, and their hard work was overwhelmingly appreciated by the volunteers. They got their fair share of brushes and pets over the course of the weekend. I asked one first-time volunteer, Alex, what his thoughts were on his first volunteer experience.
What do they say about the Peace Corps? It's like the toughest job you'll ever love. It's like that. It's hard work. You sleep well. The air is fresh out here, and the scenery is great. And I was thinking yesterday, as I was hiking back from my job site to where I was going to sleep, that was just a beautiful commute.
I also had the opportunity to talk to 2 seasoned volunteers, Petra and Charlie, about their connection to the land and why they chose to volunteer with the Arizona Trail Association.
I've been backpacking for 50 years and mostly, occasionally did a little trail maintenance with the Boy Scouts when I was with them, but mostly I've been a user of trails. And when I came to Arizona, I started hiking the trails here and realized they're starting to deteriorate for lack of funds mostly. And I thought, well, now's a good time to start giving back for all the time I've spent hiking.
Sure.
And so I don't have any particular attachment to the AZT. I'm more attached to wilderness. So this is my kind of thing, the Mazatzal wilderness. And so that's kind of why I like to work here.
Sure.
Because it's the wilderness. But I'm working on a mission to go visit all the wildernesses in Arizona, and so I'll do that. But while I'm in between doing that, I'll spend some time working on the Arizona Trail.
Awesome.
I think the AZT association is fantastic. Very well organized, doing great work, and more than happy to contribute to that.
I have been volunteering for the Arizona Trail Association for probably about 3 years now. I've only done a few projects, but it's really important to me as a hiker, long distance hiker, pretty active backpacker. It always just really makes my heart sing when I'm out on the trail and I run into a trail crew. In fact, it usually will eat up a couple hours of my day because I have to stop and visit with them and tell them how much I appreciate what they're doing. And so it really means a lot to me to be able to come out and actually help maintain a trail that I've hiked and that I really enjoy hiking. And it's right here sort of in my backyard, and it just really means the world to me to be able to come out here and help maintain this trail.
Lastly, I was able to chat with one of the co-stewards of Passage 23B, Marianne, about what her connection with the trail was and why she chose to become a steward of such a remote part of the trail.
So I started volunteering for the AZT 3 years ago. I was a hiker, and I was on Hike Arizona, and Wendy Lotz, who's the volunteer coordinator for the AZT, posted for her trail section, and I just had so much fun that weekend working on her section, and they were talking about the section right here, 23B, became available, and Sandy was there with me, and neither of us wanted to do it by ourselves, and we decided just to be co-stewards. So she does all the administrative stuff, and I try to be her biggest supporter. So Sandy Fortner's very important to the good stewardship we have on this section. Why the AZT? It just happened that way. I'd volunteer, I think, anywhere, but I just think the society, the people associated with the AZT, just have a passion for it, so it's fun to be a part of that.
On my hike back down the mountain after 2 days of trail work, I once again found myself with a few blisters, some wonderful stories, and a full soul. Being able to reflect on this experience in the solitude of my solo hike down the mountain filled me even further with gratitude. The glorious, overcast sky provided just enough shade to keep the mountainside cool and make the distant mountains come alive as the shadows gently danced across their contours. The Arizona Trail is an important resource for so many people and allows for so many to have a deeper connection with Arizona's beautiful and unique landscape. I'm so grateful that places and opportunities like this exist today, but they truly would not be possible without the diligent work of volunteers. I'd seriously encourage you, even if you're just slightly interested, to go for a hike on this trail and form a relationship with Arizona's sublime landscape. Volunteer opportunities with the Arizona Trail Association allow for you to explore the trail and give back to the land that makes it possible. You can find volunteer opportunities at aztrail.org/volunteer, or you can donate to the Arizona Trail Association at aztrail.org/donate. Both of these links can be found in the description of this video. A huge thanks goes out to all the people that have put so much hard work into making this trail possible. It would not be possible without you. Another amazing trail work experience in the Mazzies is now complete. I hope this video gives you guys a little bit more of a complete picture of really what it takes to make an 800-mile trail through all sorts of different terrain. The little snapshot, that I showed you, it was only a couple of miles total that we were able to remedy and maintain this little adventure. And that was with 17 people with 2 days of time. And we were only able to probably remedy around 3 to 4 miles of trail. If you take that and expand it across the whole trail, it would take that same amount of people 200 days to maintain the entirety of the Arizona Trail. Keep that in perspective next time you find yourself out on any trail that you recreate on. It's an immense amount of work, and the people that do this work truly are amazing, selfless people. And I really do encourage you, give back, whether that be to the Arizona Trail or whatever trail you recreate on. Find an opportunity to get involved and help make our outdoors as beautiful as they can be, because it wouldn't be possible without the volunteers that make this sort of thing happen. So I'd just like to say now, thank you so much to all the volunteers on these amazing trails for doing such great work. And thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up button, as it will help the YouTube algorithm recognize the quality of my work and get it out to some more people. If you thought I earned it, smash that subscribe button down below so you can be here for my next adventure. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay groovy.